Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is episode 847. Fucking talk shit with Eagle. My guest tonight is Cross Creek Cannabis. How you doing, my friend? You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and where they can find
Absolutely.
you? Eagle Gardens.
But first and foremost, thank you for having me, man. It's when I got the invite, I was super stoked. I was like, absolutely, man. Let's shoot the breeze and talk some trees and talk about all things cannabis and where things are at. Sort of about myself and where my inspirations come from and what I'm working on and encourage others to work on. So yeah, it's a good year. I mean, we're right in the thick of it here in July. It's everything's starting to flower. We're getting past we're past the last minute taking clones part. That's for sure. And I mean, we're getting full blown males, and so there's a lot of showers taken during the day. You don't want to go somewhere with pollen; you just can't risk it at all. So, but there this year in particular, unlike the last two, I kept saying, "All right, next year is going to be diesel focused," and sure enough, it fell together. I had gotten some wing wang sour earlier in the year that I had kept, and some LA headband, just really funky sour stuff that I'd been wanting to run, and so I'm pretty overwhelmed with that. I have a nice variety this year. Some years I run just a few different types, but it's really a smorgasbord out there. And I've gotten a lot of great genetics from people that I look up to, and I'll take it and pheno hunt, because I was mentioned to you earlier, pheno hunting, if you're a breeder, is the most important thing. You cannot create a strain worth its salt if you haven't just pheno hunted the hell out of it. I mean, I'm working on a couple of cultivars, and it really takes about 500. Some people would say way more than that, but I worked with 500 Jack the Ripper seeds and did it. It took 2 years, and I wanted to focus on some of the heavy cleaner taste, and I mean, it just took forever, and it was just like a never ending journey. But what came out was really great, and to see other people grow it, and I get pictures back and reports back. You feel like you've done your part in pheno hunting and honoring your mentor. Like that was some of the sub cool stuff. So that was a huge influence on me. I tested a lot of stuff for that guy and learned a lot of things from those guys. And you take what you learn, you kind of dissect things from your mentors, and you turn it into your own, and you hoist that flag, and you just see who salutes it, man. And flavor chasing's a big deal. A lot of that stuff out there, uh, I'm yet to try. It's just results of previous breeding selections that I've done, and hopefully this whole year we'll be testing that stuff out. But I'm really big into that. I mean, I'm really big into that. A lot of people, and I don't blame them a bit. It's probably easier just to get a pack and grow and just grip it and rip it, go grow whatever you get. But I'm a little more. I think I'm a little more anal than that. I have so much. Just I want to mix so many things, but some things I find doesn't need to be mixed. I've seen a few cultivars that are just perfect as they are, and keeping clones and teens and all that healthy during the year. And it really is. It's a 365-day a year thing. You have to make sure everything's clean and proper IPM. I think think a lot of people lack on that a little bit, and you got to keep a good, clean grow room. Just you have to be uh, pretty much a servant to the climate that the plants want. And up here in Northern California, it gets hot, man. Like I took a temperature gauge and put it at the base of the plant and where the stalk meets the soil. It was 115 degrees. So we're watering we're watering like 3 times a day, and it's everything looks great. I mean, you're always having a good look in the garden when everything's looking great. When you because I feed my plants a lot of mycos, a lot of living soil. A lot of my buddies growing cocoa, and that's great too. It's just not my thing personally, but I have seen some great things out of cocoa. But I'm a live soil, living soil type of guy. I always have been. Really, it was the way I was taught. I've ran a couple of cocoa runs, and they
All right. Well,
fun, but
I don't mean to interrupt.
no, go for it.
I can tell this is going to be a fun episode
Oh, dude, I
already.
talk. I'm a
So
talker.
we got to start this properly. We got to find out where this all begins. So
Well,
when was the first time you either seen or cannabis? Where did this
that's
love for cannabis start?
a very interesting story, man. I wrestled my whole life. I wrestled my whole life. I did not. I was my life was wrestling. I went to college to wrestle, and then I joined the military. But I was a complete head. May or may not have been a complete head in the military. But when I was in college, I worked traveling wrestling camps, and they were all over the place. And there was a camp that was at Penn State, and I was one of the coaches there, and I was coaching these kids, and their dad was from Willow Creek, and this guy was just like the quintessential Jeff Spicoli, cool ass dude that you wanted to be around. It was like a magnet. We were like a magnet to each other. Like, cause he thought my purple wrestling shoes were cool, and I thought that everything about this guy was cool. He's like, you gotta come, you gotta come business, man. I'm a girl, like put you to work, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And mind you, this was 20 about 25 years ago, 27 years. It's been a long time. It's crazy how time flies. But yeah, he kept pushing it. You got to come out to Willow Creek. And I hadn't, I'm from North Carolina. And so I went to Willow Creek, and my introduction to cannabis was 5 acres of Bubba Kush and another 5 acres of Mr. Nice from this camp dad from wrestling camp, and it changed my life immediately. Like you just got I just got the lightning. I suppose that some people would have looked at that okay, but for me, I knew right then that something changed forever, and and it did. But what was funny about it was like, a lot of people's introductions were like little closet grows, which were, I actually wish that I got to have done all that. But like I said, I grew up every weekend off wrestling. I mean, just, it was truly my life. But when I freaking saw that field of Bubba Kush, buddy, and I knew that I wasn't going to the Olympics or winning any NCAA titles, it was cannabis. And I mean, even in the military, big traveling, I was able to seed source and things like that. And you just have to it's got to be low key about it. But after the military, man, it guerrilla grows just out the ass like most, and getting to know the plant, and figured out that, like, because the guy who's, salute to Donnie, who brought me out to Willow Creek many years ago. But anyway, which I live near the Mendocino County line. I'm in Lake County, so it's funny because I just paid attention, immediately became a student of the plant, like, and was watching what these guys were doing. Probably asked a lot of stupid questions in the beginning, but I was learning, and then I met other people because freaking it was like this guy knew everybody, and he introduced me to other people, and then I'm testing for subcool and pheno hunting for those guys, and working on projects with just a lot of people. And I thought, well, something's going right, and people that I would look at traits of breeders that I hold in high regard, like I think, and I've got no connection with these cats other than respecting them and growing their gear and liking it, but like North Star and Freeborn. I mean, that's some killer grass, man. And I worked with another guy that was part of the TGA crew, and we created a lot of stuff with the Sherbert backcross that was really nice, which I actually kept and turned ran it into a couple of other things. Because, like I said, if it's a good mom, it's like, okay, I'm gonna find a good stud. But once I started being introduced to breeding and proper breeding, I was like, okay, because like I said, some people just they won't, there's people that just are content with autoflower stems and they get knockout plants, and more power to you, man. There's so many spokes in the cannabis wheel, but for me, I like to really pheno hunt and look and watch a plant, see what it can take. And I was just luckily introduced to really talented cats, and it was really funny how that sort of just literally hit the ground running. Your introduction to cannabis is this, and it was in the day. It was a while ago. 100. I don't know how many, probably 200 Bubba Kush plants out there, and they're just casually, just like, yeah, and you fall in love with it. And you want that for yourself, and I'm gonna rip this blue limonene. This is a killer smoke. I gotta say, I love good terpy cannabis that stays on your palate and just freaking you get the full effect. And this is certainly one of them, but that wasn't a rip.
Nice. Is that your favorite ingestion method there? The good old bong?
I just, you know what? It sure is that and other forms of bongs. Like, it's funny because some of my good buddies, they want, hey, yeah, smoke a doob and I'll be right there. But when it's just me and my weed, it's glass for sure. I try not to let it get very haggard because I mean I really want to enjoy this stuff. But yeah, I love a good just face smacking bong rip, man. I just and that taste that stays in your mouth. That's what it's all about, the full effect, and enjoying the taste when you've burnt it 4 or 5 times. I mean, way into the bud, and it's still just it's deep. So it'll be a minute before there's any kind of snappage. But so I had a series of apartments, mostly through the military, and I would just do pheno hunt, like literally I'd have a little cot in the corner of a room, the bedroom, the living room, the bathroom. It was a grow room. And that's just, but there was one day, this was in San Francisco, and I said, man, this was about 8 years ago now. I thought, I just can't reach my full potential. Like I got to do something much bigger and better. So I was able to get a house up here in Lake County and space, thanks to great cats that let me grow. And we have a really beautiful garden and growing some real bangers. And you meet good people. I've met some tremendous people at events here and there, and it's a really it's really great when everybody works together and everybody's on the same page. And if a buddy of mine knows that, hey, I know Cross Creek said something about he's trying to run diesels this year. Hey, I got a good buddy that hooked up the diesel back cross from Aficionado. I mean, you already know that's going to be that's going to be completely just a bombshell. And I'd gotten the white cherry truffle from another just great friend. So I found a beautiful white cherry male that hit with a diesel back cross, and we'll pheno hunt that. And I can't imagine that not being just the total package. But there might be some tweakage that needs to go on with it. I don't know, but I was able to get the not an imitated Kim dog. A buddy, not so dog, drove halfway, which I was so thankful, because Kim dog, I think if I had to respond immediately, what's your favorite Kim dog? It just kicks ass. It checks all the boxes. And he drove halfway, a couple hours, and I drove halfway, a couple hours, and he gave me 3 Kim dogs, and I was just like, oh, man. And so you keep it alive, and throughout the winter here, it also gets very cold. So keeping all of this stock, it takes an awful amount of effort, which is totally cool. But some people will have to grow from seed every year because of that. I mean, it's interesting. We'll have days 110 in the summer, and then in the winter, it could be with no humidity, mind you, in the heat. Then we get in the winter, and your dehumidifier fills up in 40 minutes, and you just have to keep everything going until the next year, because things like Granddaddy Purple, they're like the true GDP and like the true Royal Kush and stuff. Those are things that you just can't lose those cuts. And I think summertime, when I'm taking fresh clones, that's the easiest part. I think the hardest part is the cold months, keeping plants healthy where they need to be, and no hiccups. But yeah, it was. I don't believe in a master grower. I think we all have room to learn, but and I learn every year a tip or 2 or 10 about keeping your clones right, doing things the way they need to be, proper IPM, all that stuff. But there's some really great cannabis out there right now, and it's because people were able to keep these old school cuts, like there's an 86 1986 OG. Well, it's not an OG. It's a Ollie something. A buddy of mine has had it since '86. It's a Kush type, and I can't wait to do something with that. You want to get back to the backbone of sometimes going back to the basics and then adding to it for that flavor chasing is what we need to do. But Yeah, yeah, but there is so much great cannabis out there right now. Like I said, that blue limonene. I mean, it's unbelievable. So we've come a long way in breeding and back crossing and doing it right, finding the right male, because it really is about finding the right male when you're breeding, because you can find the wrong male and just start a travesty genetic line. You really can. And when you see a male that may have taken 300 seeds to get through, it's it's worth it, because you find one that's just, you just know it. But finding a female is equally as hard too, and all while growing for yourself with your head stash stuff. So um, I love bouncing from one thing to another. I've always been kind of here, there, and everywhere, and also uh, call it what you will, but anything that I've ever loved, like I'm in it 100%. Be it growing up all the way wrestling 100%, and it's breeding, keeping everything going 100%. Just and really the my uh, biggest, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but I love it when I get a response, like get a message from somebody that's gotten something that I've bred or something, and they send me pictures, and they're like, "Dude, this was killer. We had a great time growing it. It kicks ass. Everybody loves it." I mean, that makes you feel really say, "Oh, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah." You don't want somebody to hit you up and be like, that was garbage, but it feels really awesome. And I've gotten a lot of that with a few in particular, and it makes you want to keep doing it. You know what I mean? People that are growing your gear and sending you pictures and updates, and you want to, and maybe they further work that, and it becomes something better. You've thrown your project into the stratosphere, and it may become something even better. Who knows? And just throwing that out there is your leg, because what you breed and what you put out there is going to outlast you as a person. If it's good. I mean, if it's no good, then it's not. But a good cultivar is gonna, especially a good legacy cultivar, is gonna outlive the grower or the breeder. So you always keep that in mind when you're running stuff like. And your standards have to be brutal. They really do, if you want really good, like that picture. I see that picture behind you of that bud, and I think I can see from here that's such a beautiful plant. And I'm thinking, yeah, if you want to grow stuff like that, then you gotta, proper pheno hunting and good, just strong roots all year, good clones. But yeah, it and it's a big difference, as as we all know, like indoor versus outdoor. And when you're doing both, it's yeah, I'm not running too much of it in right now. It's just because the outdoors consuming all the time. But being able to work with stuff like LA headband and stuff that I haven't ran that. I've ran some headband types, but I had gotten, and Freeborn's double limes, which was funny because we were at an event at a place called Area 101, and they were there, and there was a breeders panel, and I just could, because that plant just absolutely kicks ass. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not, and I yelled, "Double limes, man, yeah!" So we start talking about double limes, and that the mom in that. And you better believe I'm working with that. I mean, it's the shit. When you find a good, well, for I suppose people with good that like lime terps, but you hit that to a good like I'm hitting it to the Kim Special Reserve just to see how it does. But when a great cultivar is made, man, it's that's what we're all trying to do in that breeding room, and making sure that your next grow is a little bit better than the one before, and always be a student. Always having an open mind with things, because I to, I didn't really even know. Hell, I didn't even know Hortilux went out of business. I was still running their lights, and I was trying to find I was trying to find replacement 315 CMHs, and I said, dude, they went out of business. I thought, holy shit, I didn't even know that. So I've got some thanks to another, because I'm so thankful for the very, very tight friends that I've made through cannabis. Got some just awesome lights. It was that was a game changer. Getting huge Gavitas and growing under that. I mean, that's such a game changer. And the good group of dudes, GLK. They're out of Michigan. They just completely hooked me up with Gavitas and just thanked me for my service. And I was like, holy shit, dude. It was amazing. It was so I'm running under some really nice gear, and this winter is going to be, I'm really looking forward to it. But as of now, I was going to point this out earlier. For whatever reason, we get such gnarly gusts of wind out here, like to the point that it'll snap a plant if it's not ready, if it's not, prepared for that type of force. But I have a greenhouse, and it just sounded, I thought, oh God, I hope nobody hears that, because it just sounded like just these flags just in the wind, like at night. And I thought, holy shit, I hope nobody hears that. But the oh gosh, the LA headband and those types of diesels. I've always been a diesel guy, and I think that they're becoming harder and harder to find, like the 96 skunk, true skunks. That shit's getting harder to find. And I've had a couple skunks, and they were more like island sweet skunk. Like I just really like the putrid, funky, spilt gas with a little bit of cleaner. I like it. That's my that's up my alley. But like the white cherry truffle, like I like cherry pie and things like that. Nice, harsh diesel stuff. But telling you, that blue limeade will get you blistered. I didn't realize how loaded I was until I started thinking, oh wow, that's pretty good shit. So, but yeah, it really is. It's from very, very early morning. I'm still not as much spraying as much as it's just things that need to be done before the sun comes up. And I came in a little bit ago, everything a-okay, and then as soon as we finish, I'll check on a couple of things. And it's you really have to get after it. And I had to visit. I went to my best friend's wedding the other day, and I tried to be as cool, because I hired I have a very good friend that took care of the garden, so we're good. But the whole time you're at this wedding thing, and all I'm thinking about is my plants. Like, oh God, gotta get back to the garden, dude. But yeah, everything was fine. The clones were fine. Everything was fine. But and I'm sure I knew it would have been. But you gotta if you're going somewhere, buddy, those plants, They don't care. They're thirsty, and especially now, I fed. I will have to have watered 3 times today. It's particularly hot in certain places around here, and I'm in one of those just particularly blistering areas, and that's I don't. Some people dump ice. Some people I have seen that done. I don't do that. I just try to water more and water all the pots if they're not growing out of the actual ocean forest pot. I just keep the side wet. Block the sun. Do what you can because some plants do really well here. Like some plants that were bred out on the Mendocino coast, they don't they don't do so well in the heat. So I try to keep these. Um, I try to keep the ones that are going to, no question, be able to take this kind of heat and just thrive. I mean, the GDP, it's unbelievable. Because you sometimes we associate purple cannabis to temperature, and 115 degrees, and you got solid purple nugs. I mean, that's genetics all the way. So you got to hold on to that, and so um, it's amazing to see a plant that purple in that hot of weather. But either way, and everything that's out there now. I knew I overplanted, so I think we should do that because not everything's going to turn out perfect, and there's going to be one or two or three or four that you're going to. I don't think that quite made the cut. Once it's shaped up and ready to flower, unfortunately there was a couple that just didn't make the cut, but turned out it was a blessing in disguise because it just let a diesel back cross grow out more. So it's a win-win. So,
So we got
but
to rewind this back a little bit. First and foremost, I want to stop and thank you for your service. By the
oh man, hey man, it was just there was no question that's what was going to happen. So I appreciate that. Uh, yeah, my old man was in the military and uh, pretty much pretty much bred me for the military. But it was great. Some of my buddies in the military they're all well, not all, but all the cats that I'm still in touch with that I served with, they're all stoners. They don't have gardens like I have, but they're all they're not in it like I am, but they they're all total burners, which is great because
you
it's
guys
just
deserve that
oh
minimal
well
service. You know,
it's ridiculous because I don't I'm not I'll touch on this, but you get on a rabbit hole of this, it's just all kinds of fuck. But the VA, they do not at all in any way, shape, or form promote it, tell you should use it. If you go in there, which I got retired from the military, um, an event happened. I got retired, and there we are. But so I have Navy insurance, and so I don't use the VA. They're incompetent. So I went to I go to private medical, but they just don't know what the hell they're doing, and it really sucks because there's a lot of cats that really put in their time, and they're just so damn slow. The care's not that good. I got very lucky because, well, you know, I'm where I am. I got a VA home loan. And I'm you can do the land loan and farm loan and all that shit, and blow it out, put some white cherry truffle on that land, take off. But yeah, it was. I loved the Navy. I loved it. I thought it was. I had too much fun in the Navy, but but things that. But anyway, the VA, they don't. They're just so behind, and if you go and mention at all, like I said, like with this, even with private care, and I say, oh, I use CBD balm. I mean, they're like, well, you should, let me write you this steroid. It's you'll find one or two private doctors that are on that'll be at least on board with because I have a terrible back. I mean, it's just it's absolutely axed, and biofreeze doesn't help. What helps is cannabis free tincture that a good friend Sandy of mine makes. I mean, that and Rick Simpson oil, that helps more than probably because your average veteran sometimes is prescribed, and I know people have heard this, and I can confirm it's true. They'd rather put you on 30 different psychotropics and have 10 million reasons why they did that when cannabis, Rick Simpson oil, anything from the plant can do so much, from insomnia to, I mean, you name it. There's so many things it can cover, and they're not on board with it. They're bureaucrats. It's just they stand in line and they just read what the man says, and I don't. It helps me, and it helps so many. And if only they would get their head out of their ass and you know at least CBD. I mean, at least CBD. Come on, but yeah, they're still very much. I mean, there's people that lose their pension. That maybe they use some cream. Maybe they went on a crazy mission, a gnarly mission, and they put on some cream, and then they piss test them the next day, and they piss hot. Gone, done. There goes your everything gone. So, like I said, like knocking on every piece of daggone effing wood I have. None of that ever happened to me in the military, but yeah, it was. It sucks because alcohol's treated so much different. If you get drunk and you just crash through the back gate, they'll just talk to you about drinking and how, hey, you should probably only have 5 or 6 a day instead of 12. But no other punishment. Like that's okay. But we're going back to the old pot versus tobacco, pot versus alcohol thing. But there's still a lot of people that subscribe to that, but especially in the military. But now, where I am in my life now, everything's pretty much cannabis based. If I need anything, it's cannabis based. As far as for pain and things like that. It's a wonderful plant. I mean, it does so much stuff. I even a lot of times when I eat gummies for sleep, I mean that's some of the best sleep you'll have. A doctor would rather write you an SSRI for it, but hey, man, I'll take a gummy and see you in the morning. You know what I mean? I mean that's and it's if more people were able to benefit from that, it would be a lot. It would be a lot better. But and also being around good people that in the cannabis game, being around good people and getting good advice, good honest advice, people that have been around, and you always being a student has continues to help me. I think every cultivar that I've bred it's slightly better in some way, shape, or form because you listen to somebody that you look up to or someone that just knows their shit, and you just you're all ears and a sponge. Just we've been to a lot of events where people just it may not be something that I'm working on at the moment, but by God, I'll go soak that right in and just put it back here somewhere until it's needed. And talking about it is awesome because breeding, I think breeding is a smaller community than even I think. Like, because I'll talk to a lot of my friends that are not breeders, but I'll send things that have worked on it for a few years. I did this banana OG with an apple fritter, and the banana OG seeds were tough. They were old. They were a bit aged, and they weren't stored properly. But I got about 6 to germinate. But man, one of them just stood. It was unbelievable because some of them were kind of just coming up slow, like as old seeds would, but just one of them just came up like a freaking beanstalk, man. And it turned out to be just this huge, robust, bitchin' male, and that turned into what some people are better with names. I just called it Funk Fritter. The name might change, who knows? But it was hit with the apple fritter, and it has this really funky banana, old school, OG, sharp, almost hairsprayish. Like there's very minute apple fritter. It's mainly a supercharged banana OG. So a buddy of mine, we're just trading them back and forth to find just the gnarliest we can, and it's Christ, what keeps coming back is just so I got a few out there now that it's like the first ones I go to in the morning, like, oh, how are these looking? And they look great. I mean, the stem rub is just makes your mouth water. So the next few months are going to be interesting because it doesn't really rain this time of year here. I mean, we just it's strange. I mean, no rain. And with that said, there's a lot of fires, but come because I tried to do a land race. A buddy of mine went to India, and during when the seeds were harvested, and he shucked a bunch of seeds and put it in a sunflower seed bag and got a whole bunch of landrace seeds back, and I ran some outside, but it was just they were so far along. I ran them inside successfully, but outside, once that there's just no change. Just one day it's hot, and then the next day it's winter, and it's wild how that works. And then just one day it just hot weather is over, rain and winter. It could not make it. It just couldn't make it. But it had a very sour hue to it. It was its own. It wasn't sour like a sour diesel. It was a sour that actually a lot of literature about it. Skunkman Sam said that was the best grass he had out of India, the entire continent. And it is very good. It is very good. I mean, it just grows to astronomical heights. If you don't flower that sucker when she is just yay big, I mean, you're asking for a plant that's going to grow twice the size of your house, and that sucker did. It was flopped on the roof, but when that cold weather came, couldn't finish it, but it was very fun growing it. When I ran it inside, yeah, we got to finish it and smoke it, and it was killer. I mean, there's the good thing about that one was like no outside, like no European genetics had hit it at all. No European pollen. It was in the hills of Manipur, right on the Burmese border, and this cat just with permission. I mean, there were two farmers that he met, and they let him shuck some seeds, and it was farmer one and farmer two. That's how it's listed, and they're both pretty much the same, but the buds, I mean, dried were the size of my fist, the tops, but they were just. It's funny how land races finish in sections, and I saw today a picture of a Vietnamese land race, and I was like, oh yeah, those and the Laotians and Cambodians. They may take 20 weeks, but it's really rewarding. But yeah, good Lord, do they get tall? You're not gonna hide. You're not about to hide like a Colombian or a Manipur or a Burmese. It's just you could hide an Afghani, probably a Mazar al Sharif, like an indica land race, maybe. But yeah, they're really fun to grow land race plants because you can get some really great. It's like the beginning of a breeding project because we hit Cuvée to the Manipur, which substantially slowed the flower time down. That's what you wanted anyway. It substantially slowed the flowering time down, but there still could be some. It's missing something, but as long as you can get it down to a reasonable flowering time, it's great because if not, then you'll be growing her till kingdom effing come. Because I mean, it was funny because it was like December and she still had little bitty, like right before, like she was I was trying everything, but new growth coming off of her in December. So I was like, my God. But it is a fun plant to grow. And if you have the space, you're prepared. And, I wasn't prepared to have, I just let it rip. And I let it rip when it was a little too big. But, it was just one of those, I just want to see I just want to see this monstrous plant, Yeah, everything else around you is what you really, I took care of that too. But yeah, everything around you, is going to finish, on time. And this one might, maybe I can get a section off of it. But, it's, yeah, land races are, that's like a subculture type. I know that land race mafia and those guys, they love it. And I talked to a few other people about just land race stuff. There's a Uzbeki from Uzbekistan got sent to me that I'm really excited to grow. But when you're pheno hunting and stuff like that, I just wish there were more hours in the day. If only, because you got a lot of when you're doing all that, there's a lot on your plate. But it really is a heck of a great way to fill your day. And it's hard work. It pays off. It's hot as hell, but the plants are beautiful, and as long as everything's fed right, treated right, it's going to be just some killer smoke, man. And also, one thing, when the plant's growing, nature's doing its thing. It's really when the human intervention, when we cut it, that makes or breaks everything. Some people just can't wait the extra 2 weeks. When it's like sort of a rule of thumb, if you think something's done, just let it go 2 more weeks or whatever. And some people take it a little early, a little late. There's, you got to take it right in that sweet spot and be patient for that sweet spot. And having a good drying area, good slow, dark. I prefer dark or in the 60s Fahrenheit. Plenty of airflow, just a slow over about a 6-day period. That's what you want. You can't put in all that work and just throw it in a 120-degree barn. I can't be doing that. You got to really focus on how you're going to handle the drying, because that's going to make or break the final product. So it's funny. It's funny because it's doing its thing by nature out there right now. But come September, October, November, when it's time to take them down, and or if you're going to pull them early and wash them, whatever, it's how you treat them out is how they're going to turn out. So it's funny how when we intervene, we got to be on point, because we can screw up a harvest pretty quick. I mean, God knows I have when learning the ropes and getting it right, getting that right drying temperature, knowing when to jar it, keeping it at a certain humidity. I mean, I really do believe drying it is an art. It's like an art form, just like hash making and any type of extract or any kind of further cannabis work. It's an art, like even the tincture stuff. I don't personally make that stuff. A friend of mine does, but like my extract stuff, I'm sure there's people that have their way, and it's very, very good. But it's an art, and it's an art form that I love. I love it a lot. And I'll tell you, because of cannabis, I have felt mentally and physically, the best I have. The times that I either get too busy and come in from working and don't smoke, and just there's just kind of a but when you have a good smoke, and you have I smoke dubs during the day when I'm working, but when you come in and have a good bong rip and just a good ambiance, dude, it's nothing better. I mean, it's just so calming. After just busting ass all day and coming in and smoking some super killer stuff. I mean, it's great. It's great. And I've just been rambling on, man. I could just keep talking and talking. So I'm just letting you know.
I like to let it flow like that, get the most out of you. If I interfere, and kind of interrupt you, you don't get the
No,
complete thought as it
always
naturally should be.
anything that chime in on anything. Happy to answer it. It's because it's really just about uh, taking the right path down the road of cannabis. Right people, people that have your back, people that that you share genetics with, and then the next thing you know, you've known these people for a decade, and you've been working with them. It's just it's funny. It was I realized a buddy and I who work back and forth. It's like, dude, we've been doing this for about 8 years now. Like shit, it just came to like this. This has been pretty daggone. I think I'm gonna fire up the dabber, but there are definitely but well I have to say while it's on my mind, I went to my best friend's wedding this past weekend. It was in San Francisco, and there was a commercial smoke lounge in there, and I'll tell you, the vibe was absolutely nothing like you would find up in like Area 101, up this way. It just felt, if I had to describe it in one word, two words, it would be painfully commercial. Like people that just it's and I get it. People got to have jobs, and that place does good. But when you start talking cannabis with these people, they look at you like you have two heads. Like they're just like, dude, whatever's on the menu, whatever that Mylar says. So that's you just think, damn. So it's really great to talk about cannabis with people who love cannabis and know what the hell they're talking about.
So I gotta pull you back a little bit to
All right.
let's go back to when did you want to start breeding? I guess tell me a little bit about the grow at the time, the strains you were working with, and what made you even want to start breeding. What
Well,
made you want to start? What were you looking
sub
for?
sub cool for sure. There were so many flavors that I saw come out, and I'm thinking, he's pumping out all these. The breeders that were under his umbrella were coming up with really good shit. And I thought, maybe it's the inner artist. I don't know, but I started seeing things, and I would test things, and I would have just like everybody, I suppose it's happened once or twice, a couple accidental pollinations, and it turned out really good. And I thought, um, I don't know, but that turned out really good, and I think I'm gonna take, just kind of become a it was really that simple. I saw how many cultivars and how many the flavor range, and just asking questions about what are the backbones to this stuff, and a lot of it, excuse me, is Cindy 99. I always joked and said if there was no Cindy 99, like 90% of TGA stuff wouldn't have been around, but it was. But I would get stuff like Vortex, and I would get stuff like Jack the Ripper and Pennywise and all this stuff, and everything had a different taste than what I like because when I first got introduced, like I said, it was all like Bubba, like the whole damn field was Bubba Kush, and then some Mr. Nice over here. So the variety wasn't really there. It was these cats were growing daggone Bubba Kush, Katsu Bubba, Monday through Sunday, and so I started to get seeds of a different variety. And even though there's a couple with Bubba Kush in it, and I just thought, if I learned from the right people, which I went, I did the Gangier class, I did the Oaksterdam, everything that could teach me how to do the right thing in the garden. I did, and it just kind of jumped on pretty quick after I started talking to Sub and that very small crew, and one of his head breeders and I were buddies for years, and made some things together, and I would watch him. I would watch other people that I had complete um, respect for. But thought, this is what I'm going to do. And so when I took on, when you actually see like 300 plants, and when you realize, like, do you really want to pheno hunt, or do you think you want to pheno hunt and breed? I actually enjoy. Like, I think some people would find that just arduous and shitty. Like, who needs this crap? Like, like coming in and there's hundreds of plants, and you're just looking for the one. And mind you, I haven't watered in 3 days because I'm looking for the one that can withstand a bit of a drought. And so the ones that are, gone. So you're just it's like a, I don't know. It's just survival of the fittest. Like, it keeps working down, and then it's really hot in there one day, and it's really cold in there the next, but there will always be a few that are just like, "What's up? What you got?" And those are the ones that you keep. And I thought that was really great to hear that, because and to see that and be like, "Man, I've kicked your ass for a while, and you've just taken it." And it turns out that they're superior stock. And you do similar, pretty much the same thing with a female, but it seems like it's easier to find a keeper female. I mean, there's a lot of bangers out there. I mean, there really is. But a male, it depends on a lot of things. It really does. Like, and I always thought this was, because this was one of the first things that I learned about, was like hip type males that are tall and lanky. Um, very, there's not good internodal spacing. It's just the genes they're going to pass along are not what you want. The male you want, you will mistake for a female. Like, it'll just have tight internodal spacing, just free floating, completely just it checks all the boxes. It's like, this plant kicks ass. And it's a male, and it's a nice solid stemmed male, and that's what you want to keep. And I don't know, it's sort of like uh, searching for, you're searching for the just the best flavor you could possibly make, because that's how great cultivars are made, man. Some people, sometimes it's by accident, sometimes it's by pheno hunting thousands of plants, and it hits, something else comes out. I've been growing some root beer, some of Mel Frank's root beer, and there's some killer shit in that. Um, there's so there's just a plethora of very, very strong genetics that make it easy to pheno hunt fantastic stuff, and just sort of play Frankenstein with it and see what comes out. And you test them, and there's always going to be a few that are just completely covered and tight, everything that you want, and you just keep going. And that I've always loved that part of it. That's what got me into it, because, like, there are people who are equally just, that doesn't sound fun at all. Just send me a 10-pack of seeds when all this is done, and let's go to town. And I don't blame them, because the work's been done, and this is the result, and what you grow from that is uh, killer. And all of the work and all of the time and all of the effort, hands on, and and if the result is something super dank, then it really is all that you did your part. when you get responses and pictures that are like, something that you did and someone really enjoyed growing it. You just, it's like you say, you high five with them. Hell yeah, and you want to see people grow your gear because you don't want to, you want the plants to do the talking. And when you finish up some uh that, especially some from the last batch, were just really 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 good. And they had a really interesting funky, just because like I said, I like Kim funk stuff. And some of the latest stuff has that Kimmy funk. And like, my head's full of projects. Like, I have this entire pad is completely, well, that's blank, but completely full of just this and this and this, and it's all, trying this, and how do you think this would do with that, you know and ask questions from people that you look up to, and that their answers and advice you take seriously. So you're just trying to be the best you can be, uh, every time you water, man. Every time you pluck, every time you clean the under, you know carriage of a plant. You just want to keep doing the best you can, and you want your name associated with good. You want your name associated with uh, good genetics, solid customer service, that type of stuff. That's what you want, and that's what I've really bust my ass to do. And because I could just name cats that have been so cool to me and continue to be so cool to me, and probably watching now. And
Oh yeah, there's been a few.
it,
There's been a few props tonight out for
right
you for
on,
sure.
man. That's awesome. And that these and I think a lot of it is communication, man. Like, I know that a lot of people are busy and they don't, either whether it's whatever the reason is, they don't answer their DMs a lot. And a lot of people would DM Sub and some other people uh, that I was working with at the time. And I'm the one that would respond. And I made some really great friends out of that. And it's funny how the hell that worked out, because they would contact me on Cross Creek because they knew I was associated with one guy from Sub's team. And so they're like, "Hey, I'm trying to get the answer to this." And then the next thing you know, you've had a buddy for 9 years, and it's great. It's great. And there's there's nothing cooler than when you have good people that have the same values, the same outlook, they all want the same type of uh, result. You not to sound crazy, like, you demand perfection, man. You're gonna, if you're putting that type of work into it, and that amount of love into it, and that amount of time and effort, you really really want to do the best you can. You really do. You want to be able to uh, do better. That every piece of advice, you want to make sure it's sound. And before you send it, you want to make sure because I have a good buddy who, it's funny, he's the one who he hooked me up with the white cherry, which not a lot of packs of those were made. And as far as I know, there's not a lot of people growing it. I hooked a few people up with clones, but there's he he and I are working on some stuff together. So it's like the friends that I've met have turned into, you know, you, you just have the more, the more people on your team, the better, because everybody wants the same thing. Hey, I have this cultivar and it's absolutely killer, and I have this one and it's absolutely killer, and then you get together and you pheno hunt, and if somebody needs uh oh Lord, and I'm bad. Sometimes I'm bad about I have a few people that I have to send cuts to keep as insurance for safety purposes, but just so you don't lose them. But I haven't had to use that. I've had to use that card maybe once, but yeah. But it's just something that once you have that lightning of this is what I do, and this, you're not gonna stop. I mean, it's just gonna continue, and I genuinely hope that my name and what I'm doing is continue to be tied to you know good cannabis, good people, and this yeah, that's all you can ask for, and you really go out of your way for someone, and but really, I can't say enough, when your work is passed out and grown. I mean, because it takes time, as you know, it takes time to grow a garden, man. Hey, and if it sucks, you're not a happy camper after that. After you spent the summer growing a whole, especially if you're doing a mono, you're just doing one, and it just sucks. And but if you ran, there was I'd sent the jack this because I did that last year, and that and there was a gorilla glue hybrid that I did, and those pictures were just awesome, and people were. And it's like and when I receive those messages, and everything is completely uh, cool. So, but yeah, I tell you, I just I keep on trucking, but I have to run because I've got to water. But I have had the utmost. I've had such a great time talking to you, man, and I want to thank you again. And I'm single handed, so I've got to hit the guard. So
Oh, well, hopefully we can do a part two to this, man. I mean, I feel like we haven't even got to talk about, some of the strains that you put out, some of the things you're proud of, you
you
know,
know
uh,
what? Uh, I will.
Windy. I mean, we got a lot we can talk about it, in another episode. So, hopefully we can
Well,
arrange
you,
some.
we have to. We actually we have there's so much more to talk about, and I watered this morning. I just looked out the window, and it's starting to droop.
I can understand, man. And then we put so much time into that to
But
let little
it's
things.
that damn sun. It's that damn sun, and some of them are great, but the strain that I'm the most proud. We'll talk way more about this, but because it was a wild story out of it. Um, uh, there was a gorilla glue that I had gotten when so there was a show a long time ago, Weed Wars, and it took place in Harborside in Oakland. And Josie Wales, some of his Gorilla Glue 4 clones were down there, and I wanted one real bad, and I ended up with one. And I had crossed it with a Jack Herrera and a Dank Commander, and that Dank Commander, I it's I suppose it's not a well known cultivar, but the ones who know about Dank Commander know it kicks ass. And I, it's crazy because um, putting all those together. Uh, I had a brain fart. Shit. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. Oh man.
Talking about Dane Commander.
They command that's probably why. Because yeah. Anyway, it's a very strong cultivar, and mixed with the Gorilla Glue and the Jack Herrera. I mean, it was that one. That one was the first one that. So that's always going to be like my favorite. Well, I don't know. It's always going to have a very special place because that was the first one that I really spent time and put together a a package because I love how like the package for those seeds. Like I really wanted to. I called it Sicilian fishing trip. Like I like cult classic seeds, and I've always thought they've had a good gear and b uh, clever, funny names. And I had ran their Tony Clifton and some of they had something called cement shoes, and I just thought that shit was funny, and so I was like, you know what? Because Dane Commander is strong. I mean, that is possibly the strongest cultivar I've ever had, but it's a sativa too, and it's a super sativa. So if you ain't a sativa person, man, that's that's gonna have its way with you. But I thought that name Cement Shoes was so funny, and a great, but another great buddy of mine who's killer at computer arts did a strain logo because this is funny. I've noticed this. I've noticed this. I'll water it a little bit. It's fine. The uh, but we were like, nowadays, um, with your cultivar, you just have to have a logo for it, and it has to be good. Because when because I observe when I go to the Emerald Cup and events, um, because usually I go to these events with Sandy Lepp, Eddie Lepp's widow, and she's friends with Tim Blake. He runs all that, and so we go to this. We go to a lot of events, and they're all great. Um, but it's I observe, I watch, and if you could have daggone Dank Commander in a sandwich bag, and people are just gonna walk right past it. Like you have to have something that grabs the eye now. And that's fun. That's good. That I think good packaging's great. It's part of it, but so like I like the Maker's Mark whiskey idea of having and I think aficionado probably does this too. But I just think wax sealed glass vials just look cool. That's a good pack of seeds you got there, and you put it in a little box, and but you have to have good art, and a good buddy of mine who just does it for fun because we're buds, and he'll send it over to me, and I'm like, dude, thank you, like this is awesome, like you did. He's like, oh, you think it's a good job? It's just the first draft. I'm like, well, there doesn't no need for a second one. This one's perfect, you know. And then you put that out there, but I have noticed, I've been in those halls, and I was man, these cats like they just walk until something catches their eye, and then they'll go straight to that booth. But they may have walked right past the best shit in there because it wasn't packaged right, or they just weren't. And it's crazy, but that's how it works. But But those events are they're fun. I was able to pick. I was able to get a trot cherry, which a lot of people's grown that by now, but I was a late bloomer on the trot cherry. This year's the first year I've grown trot cherry, and it's unbelievable. But yeah, I see it a lot here. Permanent marker. Um, that's that's my God, and that was properly named. Some cultivars aren't properly named, man, but permanent marker is. That shit smells like a freaking sharp ass Sharpie with some funk in it. So that's going too. So it's like some of these are first season. I've grown these a lot, like the LA headband. That's 90s. That's late 90s. So hell, I haven't grown that every bit of 10 years. So it's it's nostalgic in a way because it's like, all right, the LA headband's back.
Love the headband. Anytime I can find a good headband or see, I want some. I please give me some. That shit is something
I would be
fire.
more than happy to give you a fat sack of that because it's so good, dude. Like that the headband has always been, and that's getting kind of. I mean, it is for me anyway. But like, it was tough to find. It was actually tough to
It
find.
is.
A buddy of mine, and God bless him, man. But like, he found it, but he had to pay for it. But we we're both growing it because it was funny because he found it earlier in the year, and he had it sent to me, and I immediately just was like, oh, and so I put it together, and I it just took off right away. I mean, it was just fantastic, and uh, I sent him a cut. And which is funny because he's in a midwestern state, and it's just completely taken off for the both of us, and it's just got that funky, undeniable already in very early flower. Uh, a funky ass headband, nostalgic. Just hey, I remember that smell. You know what I mean? And it's great. So and the diesel back cross, of course, it's everything's just kind of starting. So in like the next, I don't know, next few weeks we'll be just completely off the rails with staking. It'll be things will be growing fast, uh, and I'll love every minute of it because it's you know when your plants look good and everything is going right, it's not so stressful. When things if I sprayed I did spray with some thuricide on the around the pots, like I did like a perimeter of thuricide to keep away like any freaking brave slugs or caterpillars that want to crawl up my plant. So I have little perimeters of things. Like I use cinnamon as a perimeter for pests, and I try to use because I mean where I live. I mean it's one of the biggest lakes. It might even be the biggest lake in California. Is not far, and so there's a lot of like mosquitoes, uh, but there's also a lot of beneficial bugs. I've seen quite a few dragonflies. I've seen quite a few ladybugs. I've seen quite a few lacewings. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. But unfortunately, when it's this daggone hot, the lake, parts of it, um, I mean, I wouldn't even want to show you a picture of it. It'd be embarrassing because parts of the year it's beautiful, but I mean, it just parts of the lake just get algae on it, and it's just. But I am convinced that when the lake has that kind of just funk on it, it has to put off shit in the air. And that's why even in a greenhouse situation, in a covered situation, I still just keep everything, even if it's spot treatment, just keep everything where it needs to be, spray where it needs to be. But it's because like today it was just such a busy day. I was able to water when I sprayed a veg a depth thing this morning really early, and it's like now it's like holy shit, it's already 7:30, and my God, they couldn't take that water this morning. Jeez. So it was probably 110, but then I've got buddies that live 2 hours south and it's like 65. It's like a mountain race, like right there at the Calistoga, like the Napa area, it seems. Soon as you cross that, man, you're just crossing right into the heat. It's like your sweatshirt quickly turns into a t-shirt and the windows rolled down. So it's pretty interesting because like I said, I was in San Francisco for my best friend's wedding, and holy shit, it was freezing, and it was just freezing, and on the way back, I had this North Face on and a head, but by the time I had hit like Calistoga and went over the mountain, I mean, it was just boof. You're home, buddy. Yeah. So it's just amazing those microclimates, but I don't I don't see how it is. I don't. I tried because when I did live there, and I tried to run a few plants outside, and it just didn't. They were just I had to use supplemental lighting. It was pretty much an indoor grow outside. Just it just didn't. It just didn't like that, and I was very close to the bay too, so it was just constantly foggy. So, but yeah, but we absolutely need to uh, schedule a follow up for real because I thoroughly enjoyed this, and also I'm going as soon as I finish watering. I'm going camping. It's not far, just over at Cobb. Funny enough, besides cannabis, my true my second love is I like looking for rocks. I'm a big paleo
Rock
Indian.
on, huh?
I'm a rock hound, or I'm a rock
Oh,
hound,
yeah.
Jasper and quartz, and so yeah, I got to get that. So there's a long night ahead, but I'll tell you what, I have
That's
enjoyed
some fun right there. I
it,
mean,
dude. God, it's just
it's a
life.
calling. They really called to you. The
Yeah,
good
dude,
ones called
yeah,
you.
you daggone right they do. You go right to them, man. You go right to them. And it's funny. They're not too many, but I mean, I have some beautiful ones. There's some beautiful stuff around here. I mean, really, we have some mahogany obsidian around here, and it's just that material. It's volcanic glass, and it's so damn beautiful. And but thankfully, a buddy that drove up uh, is going to help me water, and he's been parked in the driveway for an hour. but
All
he's
right.
but he's had but he's had a doobie, so he's fine. But I've just thoroughly enjoyed this, and I thank you for everybody that chimed in, looked and checked this out. And what a great vibe, and I sincerely hope we have a part two.
We should because we actually share a few. I think I'm a rustler as well. Cannabis, longtime cannabis, and some cool friend, and a rock hound myself. I love a good hunt, and for me, I just want to throw this out there. Like
Yeah,
some of the best rock hunts has been on a mycelium bench, little mushroom
Yeah. Oh yeah.
tends to draw him right to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you become one in
You
the
become,
hunt.
you
Yeah.
feel the vibration of it, man. It takes you to it.
Hell yeah.
It
And I
does.
have had fun. So a couple of things before you go, I just want to let you
Absolutely.
know that the link that I sent you tonight is always good. I don't know. Again, we do another little thing called the Weed Nerd World. Weed Nerd World is open to all just past guests. To this point, there's 847 possibilities of people that could show up when the
I'll be
Weed Nerd
down.
World is fired up. So anytime you see you sub to the channel and you see a Weed Nerd World, you are more than welcome to come pop in, say hello, say
But
what you're working
I,
on.
I gotta take. I gotta take a picture of this one, man, because I have had I've had the best time, man. And Weed Nerd World, what a. There's no better name than that, man. And I very much look forward to logging in on that because yeah, I'm a talker. I am a talker indeed. So
That's awesome. And we
and
enjoy good conversation too. So
absolutely, man, and hopefully first of many. Hopefully first of many.
right on. One
Yeah,
last thing before you go, I hate to use up too much of your time. It's
good
one of the
dude.
most valuable things we
Man.
have. So the last thing I need from you is basically I need an old school sound bite, like on the old radio stations. My version of what I'm looking for would be something like, "Hey, this is Eagle Gardens, and I'm on fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 847. I don't care what you say before or after, make it your own. Uh, I am ready for that sound bite right now."
I'm Cross Creek Cannabis, and you're listening to talking shit with Eagle. Can we do that again, or is that a fuck up?
We go take two.
What episode? That's what was fucking me up.
847.
All
Got
right,
to put you on the spot, brother. Don't feel bad.
eight eight 847. That's what was fucking me up. Okay, all right, great, ready. You tell me when.
I'm ready, sir.
This is Cross Creek Cannabis, and I'm on episode 847 with fucking talking shit with Eagle. And I'll tell you what, man, it's been a great conversation.
Thank you, my friend. Like I said, time is the most valuable thing we have, and you gave me a fun couple of hours of
Oh,
yours, and I
dude,
can't
me
thank you
too.
enough.
I'm just, dude, I thank you so much. It was the episode number that was fun. I was like, 847. Oh, classic stoner moment.
Right on. With
But
that
yeah,
it said, brother, enjoy your night, man. Enjoy the
yeah,
water. Enjoy
yeah,
that wonderful plant.
absolutely, brother, absolutely, and hope to see you again soon. And I will absolutely chime in on the weed nerds, and I'm just cool all around, man.
Appreciate you, man. I want to thank everybody else for hanging out tonight.
Thank you,
Uh, the
Frank.
new people you've brought to the channel to discover things to check the thank you, my friend, for giving a shout out. I thank everybody for their time. Don't forget to
Oh
do
yeah,
something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives.
yeah. You do good things for people, and good things happen to you. I mean, it's just be kind, man. Be
With that
kind.
being said, that's a good way to end right there.
Yeah.
Have a good night, brother.
You too, brother. See you soon.